point to start. That's probably cannabis's biggest efficacy is with chronic pain. Efficacy meaning it'll have the desired effect, or it'll do what you say it'll do. The case studies, we tracked 2 people over 1 year while they used cannabis, taking notes and recording the actual dosage that was required. In both cases, we found that people, one was with chronic pain, the other with multiple sclerosis. Both required 500 milligrams of THC per day. To get 500 milligrams of THC, you've got to smoke a lot. I'll show you in a minute. Well, I'll show you right now. I've averaged the THC concentrations of 30 BC bud samples, just to get an idea of the average amount. We came up with 17% as the average THC concentration in BC cannabis. Now, of course, this will vary a lot, but it's an average number to give us a ballpark. At 500, the average joint weighs half a gram, so 500 milligrams, which is half a gram. 17% of that is 85 milligrams. So the total THC you can get from BC bud is 85 milligrams at 17%. And if you smoke that, I take the 28% number from normal. I've used 20% before, 25. We'll ballpark it at 28%. If you only get 28% of the THC from smoking, the rest is going to atmosphere or left behind. That'll leave you with 24 milligrams of THC from a half-gram joint. Yes.
When you say smoking, are you also including vaporizing, or is that
No, just smoking joints. And that would work out to 17 milligrams if you're smoking health cannabis pot at home. Why do you laugh?
Because they're a joke.
Can you ask that question again? Why is the health cannabis pot such a joke?
It will work for a small group of people. It's one strain, one profile, you get the same thing every time. It's very well standardized, meaning the dosage is pretty much the same every time, but it's generic.
Yeah, but as a chronic pain sufferer,
yeah.
I'm using cheaper generic drugs as far as opiates and Tylenol and codeine.
You can get pain relief from government cannabis if you vape. That's what I would do. I would heat it up and put it into an oral form.
Now,
I wouldn't smoke.
Let's say you don't prefer oral dosages because the same with the Sesame or Navalone, whatever you want to call it, that I use, which is a government pill. What's the difference?
Navalone is synthetic THC. It's a magic bullet type of approach, one cannabinoid to do the job. Natural cannabis is a mixture of 60 different cannabinoids.
And this is where I'm going to, is where taking it orally doesn't address the pain immediately, whereas smoking a joint.
Yeah. You have to wait an hour and a half to take it orally.
Yes. So, now as a prospective person that wants to get a license to have to possess it for pain relief, where do I go? Yes, I got the forms right here to fill out. Anyone willing to help me, but
this fellow here is
thank you.
John Burfellow here is a fellow I did the pain study on for 1 year. John fell 28 feet and busted himself up very badly and lives a life of chronic pain syndrome, which is, if you go up a flight of stairs, it bothers you, so that affects your life. Pain controls your life. That's chronic pain syndrome. John only uses cannabis today to control his pain. He's been through post-op surgery only using cannabis, and no longer use any opiate meds for his pain control. And I'm sure he'll be willing to stand amongst the crowd and answer questions. Oral dosing versus smoking, I just went through that. I got smoking here, toxic, oral cleansing. Why do I say that? Because I don't believe that hot particulates being inhaled into a delicate lung tissue is good. So, although I do smoke, it's not good for you. And I say oral is cleansing because when you take cannabis in orally, you get a lot of anti-cancer, phenolic, flavonoid compounds that have all been shown to be anti-cancer. Besides the anti-cancer properties of the cannabinoids, they are protectors. They're cell damage protectors that if you eat it and you smoke, you're getting more protection than if you just smoked and didn't eat it. I've often said that everybody should eat a little activated cannabis every day for general well-being.
Here, right?
How would you change a regular flower bud into that oral product?
You have to heat it up. You don't take a bud off the plant and just heat it, because nothing will happen. You've got to heat it in the joint or in the ground. You've got to decarboxylate the THC.
What about tea? Boil it and make tea.
Huh?
It's got to be similar.
Tea will only be 100 degrees. So
Speaking of that carboxylic acid derivative THC, is that one potent? Does it have any psychotropic effects?
the acid with
The carboxylic acid?
no, because I haven't got a structure here, but the THC molecule in nature has it's called a carboxyl group. It's a carbon atom, 2 oxygens, and a hydrogen.
And that comes off when you smoke.
With that on, it can't bind the receptor. You got to kick that CO2 molecule off the molecule before it binds the receptor. And that goes for the other cannabinoids as well. Cannabidiol, cannabinol are all present as acids. They have to be decarboxylated. I call it activation.
Could you eat bubble hash though?
Sorry?
Could you eat bubble hash, water hash? You'd still get high off that.
No, it's not activated.
Can the body
It will be a
decarboxylate?
little bit. Decarboxylation occurs in a bell curve. Number of molecules small here, temperature going this way, number of molecules this way. It'll go like this with the optimal at a certain temperature, right? You'll get some molecules coming off here. You'll get those in bubble hash. You can actually decarboxylate in a coffee grinder because enough heat will decarboxylate some of the molecules. You won't get optimal decarboxylation. That occurs at a much higher temperature. Right?
What temperature?
Over 300 Fahrenheit.
Just putting it into
200,
that helps.
200 centigrade is too high. 175 centigrade, something like that. But I never quote time and temperature on making oral preps because I analyze them with HPLC. I look at the raw material, my starting material, get an idea of how much THC, CBD, and CBN are there. Then I'll set my time and temperature to decarboxylate. Mostly I'm looking at the CBD because it decarboxylates the last. So once all my CBD is over, then I've got my prep, right? Without the instrument, you guys can't do that. You got to send your samples to me. But, there is no quick test for cannabinoids, unfortunately.
I got a quick question. Is there a way to extract different cannabinoids? Say, like, if you wanted more CBD and you're making hash, is there a different extraction process you could use to make a hash that's higher in CBD than THC?
There is, but it's chemistry. I would once again do it with this instrument because all the cannabinoids are separated on a column. HPLC is often called separation science because you're separating the compounds in the matrix, right? I will show you what a chromatogram looks like.
It's like
Oh, that is not well at all. There was, I don't